I've seen a lot of your questions over the past month or two. Anyway, um, my name's Lenny, and I used to be a professor of economics, and I worked on Wall Street for a long time, and I just love economics. But anyway, I'm going to start with some of the wrong answers here. First of all, dumping is something that's very, very hard to prove. Dumping is basically the accusation that a foreign company is selling its goods here in the US below cost. Okay. And the argument is if we were to say, look at Japan, and if Japan has a very steep demand curve for cars, Japan may be paying this particular price. However, in the US, there's a large supply between Japanese, German, American, whatever car makers, and the same car is actually selling at a lower price. So the argument is that Japan must be selling below cost. And the one thing we do know is that the Japanese are paying a higher price for their Toyotas than we are. And that's all we know. And anti-dumping laws are basically to try and, what they say, level the playing field. Tariffs are a similar thing. Tariffs are imposed on foreign goods. Basically, the argument is something like this. They might say, well, Japan, you're selling your cars way too cheaply here, so we're going to make it more expensive. So we're going to effectively add a tariff and push the price up on cars that American producers or American consumers have to pay. So the argument is that basically American consumers will wind up paying more, buying less, and be happier. It's not a very sound argument, but we hear it all the time. All right, now let's look at insider trading. Insider trading really involves the buying and selling of stocks and bonds on a particular company. Now, suppose that you were the president of a company and you knew that you had this drug that you were manufacturing that is going to cure cancer. And you told a couple of friends that you were going to be making this announcement next week. And those friends had this information that nobody else knew about. And they went out and they bought a lot of this stock for, say, like $50 a share. And then your company makes the announcement and the price of the stock goes from 50 to 100. Now, your friends, they made a lot of money by trading illegally, trading on information that was not publicly available. And that's called insider trading. They were trading on inside information, and that's illegal. And that's something that's regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. It has nothing to do with it. Now, that leaves our only answer, which is antitrust laws. And these go back, over 100 years, back to the time of Teddy Roosevelt. And back then, companies like railroads formed these, what they called trusts, where they wound up controlling like all the railroads or all the utilities. And they restricted output and raised price and made monopoly profits. So that actually President Roosevelt was sometimes nicknamed a trust buster, and he passed all these laws called the antitrust laws to prevent firms from merging to become monopolies and exercise monopoly power on consumers. So monopolies and firms, if firms are merging, the Federal Trade Commission is going to analyze and see whether or not this is going to wind up giving the merged company too much power. So the antitrust laws are, there to prevent mergers that would somehow harm consumers by giving too much power in the hands of too few. So the correct answer is B. If you ever have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm available and I'd love to book a session. Thanks a lot.